We're ready to roll for race 3. This is what the grid looks like. John Bowe, Peter Brock share the first row. Greg Murphy and Alan Jones the second.
Out of row 3, Russell Ingall and Larry Perkins, the Castrol pair. Row 4, Stephen Richards, watch him, and Glenn Seaton.
We then go back to row 5, Mark Poole. A good effort, a good result for that last one. Darren Hossack, Mark Larkham and Terry Finnegan, row 6.
Row 7's Grant Johnson and Tony Longhurst. Row 8, Danny Osborne and Sean Walker from WA.
And then go back to row 9, John Faulkner, Jeff Kendrick. Row 10, Alan McCarthy and Melinda Price. As I was saying earlier, this weather has turned sour in between race 2 and this one here. We've had a massive hailstorm and thunderstorm, but we're ready to roll for race 3. You can see all the wipers on. It has stopped raining now, but the track's still very wet. We are away. The third and final race here at Barbagallo. Looked like Perkins got off to a bit of a wobbly start, but he's on now. Bowe got away to a good one. Brock's on the outside, but John Bowe will take them through the first corner. Murphy on the inside of Brock.
Great start from Russell Ingall on the inside. Oh, they've had to come off here. And John Bowe and Peter Brock, both, well, they came together coming out of turn 1. Now Bowe has gone right to the back of the pack.
Well, you wouldn't believe that. Our race 2 winner has just been, well, dealt a savage blow. He is right at the back of the pack. That puts Murphy into the front. Ingall, then Perkins. We watched the field come through. Jones was further back, but Greg Murphy now leads the way.
And look at that great start from Stephen Richards. He's right up there behind Larry Perkins. Tony Longhurst attacking on the outside, but the Valvoline Cummins Commodore, he had a fantastic run in Heat 2 to come from the back of the field up to 6th. Now he's carrying that pace right through, side by side, as they come down toward Yokohama Corner for the first time. Lights ablaze.
Keep your eyes on Longhurst. Here he comes up the inside as well. He's having a look on the inside of Perkins. Whether he'll get him or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore is going great guns. Early stages, he's up into 3rd position already. That's a terrific effort.
Steve, it was a great pass, obviously, to get up the inside of Longhurst and then get Larry. And looking inside Peter Brock's car by the look of that, looking back. And he's obviously had a drama there with Bowe. I'm not sure what happened with the contact there. I couldn't really catch it.
Well, there may have been some coming together between the two, but Greg Murphy now, his teammates leading the race. Let's have a look up the Shell Helix replay, see if we can see what happened there. Well, there was already looked like contact between them. And they've gone right off in the sand there. Bowe falling to the back of the field. Brock rejoining the field a little earlier. Let's look at this again. Well, pretty hard to tell from that angle whether there was contact or not. But it's both been costly for both of those guys at a very critical point in the championship, particularly for John Bowe.
Brock kept the boot into it, and luckily he escaped from that sand trap. We've got a great battle going on behind this. Greg Murphy is leading the way. It's early days yet, but have a look further back as they come around Yokohama Corner. It is Stevie Richards who's been relegated back. Ingall, have a look at Longhurst on the grass trying to get on the inside of Stevie Richards. He puts his hand out the window and says, hey, come on.
Tony was obviously up the inside of him, and really Steve was probably on the slide and battled to get it across to cover Tony. And obviously Tony thought he had racing room there. And in the end, Tony did well not to actually have a bump up that little short straight.
See Glenn Seaton's back in the battle, choosing to repair one of his 3 damaged spoilers rather than fit the one that was generously offered by the Dick Johnson Racing Team. Alan Jones has a sniff around the outside of Larry Perkins. That's a pretty precarious place around here, but he's got him too. Good aggressive run from the Komatsu Falcon. Jones once again on fire.
Tucked in behind Larry there is Peter Brock, so he's coming back fairly forceful as well. He's got the outside run on Larry going into Cold Corner. It's the long way round down there, unfortunately, though. So we go on board with Peter Brock. The windscreen's O'Brien in-car camera. We ride with him. He's got the inside run. Oh, there's been contact between Brock and Perkins. Larry's hung on to it. Got a bit of a fishtail as he climbed the hill, and Faulkner's been the big winner out of that one.
Goodness me. Plenty of muscling coming out of Cold Corner that time around. Plenty of damage on the side of Perkins' car. John Faulkner, meanwhile, takes advantage. He slips up into the sandwich. There's some serious elbowing between Brock and Perkins that time around.
Yeah, Pete Brock's got those eyes on. You can see that they're like saucers, aren't they? When he's really intense and concentrating up the inside of Faulkner. Brock's got great speed. I mean, for the drama at the start of the race to come back as strongly as he has, he looks like he's obviously got everybody covered for speed at the moment.
Faulkner's not giving in either as we have a look at the replay of that earlier incident with Brock and Perkins. Watch the contact. Bang, there it is. Larry starts to go sideways. There is another one from Brock. A couple, probably about 3 come in contact with him.
But look, that just shows Brock. I mean, Brock up the inside of Larry there. They had a bump, but Brock could have stayed on the throttle and turned Larry around. So in the end, I mean, that's the sort of sportsmanship that really, that's what the category's about, and that's what Peter Brock's all about.
So Brock tucks back behind Larry Perkins. Plenty of tough stuff. Now he has a run around the outside. Faulkner wants to go with him. Sorting themselves out through the spray. Ingle up in second position, Richards in third, Longhurst, Seaton. But look at this great battle here. Brock down the outside of Perkins. Braking hard for Yokohama corner once again. He's got John Faulkner right up in behind. He wants a slice of the action as well. So Brock now comes back on the attack. We go on board with Peter Brock up the inside. Good fast run out of Yokohama corner. He's on the inside. Windscreens O'Brien takes you aboard 05 and he's back in front of Perkins.
So Peter moves up one position better. John Faulkner's having a great run at the moment. But I tell you what, Stevie Richards is having his run of the year. He's up there in third position. In fact, he's moved up into second now. So the Valvoline Cummins Commodore of Stevie Richards is going really well at the moment. There's Seaton and Jones moving through. Here's this threesome of Brock, Perkins. Then we go back to John Faulkner. There's Stevie Richards going through, the number 34. Valvoline Cummins Commodore. He's going great guns.
Well, it was a fantastic run for the Gary Rogers Motorsport entry. They've had a pretty tough year. Things haven't quite gone their way, but Mike Exel and the boys there, very enthusiastic. I know Stephen lends a big hand working on the car himself, and he's having a great run here at Barbagallo Raceway. So it's Murphy in charge, trying to split the gap here, but it's a huge gap he's got over second place, Stephen Richards. And back to the Castrol Commodore in third. There's our positions after 2 races today. Bow leading, 56 points. Brock second on 50. Perkins, Jones and Murphy. That's the top 5 as it stands after 2 races today. And there's 6 to 10. Ingle struggling. He would have wanted more points than that today. Hasn't been a good round for him. Equally, Seaton and Longhurst, Larkham and McCarthy.
Bow is back in 17th position after that incident at the first corner, so he has got a lot of work to do. So that's going to hurt his point score, not only in the championship, not only today, but also in the championship. As we have a look at our race leader, Greg Murphy, hasn't he had an up and down year? He's going to end the day on a high note if he can stay where he is at the moment.
Can't believe what a roller coaster ride these drivers are having in terms of their fortunes today. And there's your championship positions as they stand coming into this third race of the day. Bow 516, Seaton 510, Ingle 504. Look how close that top battle is. Then it's Perkins 424, Brock 410, and the points drop away quite clearly. So it really is realistically a battle between those top 3.
Alan Jones having another good run. He's sitting in 6th position behind Glenn Seaton. Here he goes. He pulls out of the draft. They're tucked in behind Longhurst. Then we pick up Brock looming in the background. He's starting to make ground marks, Gabe.
He certainly is. I mean, Brock looks like he's got the most amount of speed. You can see the in-car camera here with Glenn Seaton. He's really, I mean, he's driving the car very well, but it doesn't look like out of the XR8 Falcon in-car that he's really got a lot of grip. I mean, he looks like he's struggling. Tony Longhurst is in front of him, and he doesn't really look like he's got Tony covered, and Alan Jones is just past him in the Komatsu Falcon.
Look at the amount of spray. That's what you're seeing. Riding with Glenn Seaton right over his shoulder. You see the amount of water that's already on the track.
And Brock's through as well.
Now, yeah. So Glenn may be struggling a bit here. He's had to fix up one of those broken spoilers. He said the car wasn't that too bad to drive when he had that missing spoiler in Heat 2. Just a lot of understeer. Now he's got the spoiler back on, so he's still struggling for speed. It has not been a good day for Glenn Seaton.
Glenn moves back to 8th position now, courtesy of those 2 inside moves. And that is pretty hard visibility-wise, isn't it?
Oh, look at that. I mean, it is. It's just like Simmons Plains when it's as wet as this. It's so hard to see. And you can see there, Brock, he is really going well. I mean, Jones has got Longhurst. Brock slipped up the inside at the same time. And if he gets, I think, to 4th spot and Murphy wins, it's a real battle. He'll take the overall win for the day. So Peter's obviously pressing on very hard. And as I said, I think he's got everybody covered in that front section for speed.
Well, we see Tony Longhurst in shot there, just to keep you up to date with what that stop-go penalty was for in race 2. Apparently, according to officials, it was due to an infringement at the start where we saw a few cars scattering. Tony wasn't very happy about it, but he copped it on the chin and got on with it. We go on board now with Peter Brock. Dick Johnson coming into the pit, so Dick's decided to run in this third race, although that elbow was giving him a bit of grief. We go back on board. The windscreen's O'Brien in-car camera with Peter Brock. Here we go, the Mobile HRT King up the inside of Alan Jones. Good close stuff. They come down into Yokohama corner. So Brock now moves up into 4th position.
And the crowd's cheering. Western Australian fans, they know this is the last time they're going to see this man in action. It's a pretty emotional moment, and he's really turning on a show for them. Pushing his way up through the field, he's got Alan Jones right behind him. Don't forget, he's fighting back from that drama he had on the first corner. He was starting off the front row, so he's got a real fight on his hands.
Well, if he does stay here, Mark Scafield, you were talking about that point scenario, this would be his 5th round win here at Barbagallo Raceway. He is, I was saying earlier on, no one's won more rounds than Peter Brock, so he's going to increase that if he stays where he is at the moment.
But certainly over the years been a very happy hunting ground with him back in Ford Sierra days, and throughout his Bridgestone career he's obviously dominated this event as the Australian Touring Car Championship has been run here.
Well, the last time he won here was in fact in 1990 in a Sierra, so it has been quite a while between drinks. Won a lot of races early in his career, back in the 70s.
You can see, Peter, that he's driven the car all day extremely well. I said in the first race, when it was sort of damp conditions, how straight he drove the car. He was the first of the Bridgestone runners. He really, for speed, is probably really the first of the Bridgestone runners again at the moment. And if he can get to Russell Ingall, which isn't too far away, he's obviously going very strongly.
Here comes John Faulkner up the inside of Tony Longhurst. Looked like something fell off the car there. Something fell away from the left-hand side. May have been contact, a bit of bodywork flying, but it doesn't seem to have abated his speed at all. John Faulkner just flew past Longhurst there, and he's pulling away at a great rate of knots. Let's look at the windscreens O'Brien driver profile for Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Falcon. Bathurst winner, of course, in 1988. Look at that round the outside as we say that. Castrol Commodore, Larry Perkins fighting back as well. And there's his Tony's positions this year. Has not been a very consistent year for him, but he's showing a lot of speed toward the end of the championship, which is very important when you've got the countdown to Bathurst.
Peter Brock last lap with a 64.3, was half a second faster than the next car. Brock's just up the inside of Russell Ingall now. As the conditions get a little bit drier, probably the Dunlop runners won't fall away too much, but there's those Brock eyes. He's really concentrating very hard. It's been a fantastic drive after his first lap dramas.
And look at the crowd just down in front of our commentary box on pit straight. They're all up cheering, waving their arms. Fantastic. Brock really on fire, very damp conditions. Sneaks through on Ingall. And now he's got Richards and Murphy up ahead of him. Stevie Richards still doing a brilliant job. One of the fastest guys on the circuit.
There's Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore sitting in second. That's his best result if he can stay there for the year. And Brock's not too far behind him, sitting back there in third. And if Peter can stay there, it will be a Mobil HRT 1-2. Brock in for the win and Murphy second. We've got about 7 laps still to run.
Well, Mark Scaife, I believe you know a fair bit about this car. This, I believe, is an ex-Gibson Motorsport Commodore, and certainly been very effective in Stevie's hands today.
Yeah, it's our car from the Touring Car Championship last year, and obviously the setup of the car here is good, and with the Bridgestone tyre on, the 3 lead cars are doing very similar speed. Brock's obviously just taking a little bit of ground off Murphy and Steve, but probably Greg's slowed up a little bit this time of the race. He's trying to look after the tyre and cruise along and make sure you get the victory.
Well, it's good to see Stephen going so well. He has had some bad luck this year. They have had problems also in just getting the car to run right. He's certainly got it all together here at Barbagallo. He's looking good. He's a very talented driver, sitting in second. He'll be delighted. So too will the Gary Rogers Motorsport team. Just got a quick glimpse of Murphy going underneath the bottom of the screen. Brock appears as though he's bridging the gap. We have got 6 laps to run. Peter Brock is going well. Alan Jones has now got himself past Russell Ingall. Ingall's back in 5th. Faulkner, Perkins, Seaton has dropped back to 8th now. Longhurst and Finnegan, that's your top 10.
Well, there's no doubt that Brock is the fastest man on the circuit. 64.76. Everyone else operating in the 65s and up. And he is closing the gap to Stephen Richards. We'll keep an eye on that. Richards, meanwhile, has closed it down to 8 seconds on Murphy. But Murphy with that nice fat buffer, I guess Mark Scapey's just maintaining the cushion.
Yeah, he is at this point. The windscreens O'Brien shot's fantastic. Again, showing Peter, but outside of the car there, you could see him driving it as smooth as he possibly could. 600 horsepower, the car's got a lot of torque. You can't put your foot on the throttle very hard, and on the exit of Kolb there, leading onto this main straight, it's very high undulation. You come over this hill, into this braking area, braking very, very hard for the end of the main straight. It's the highest braking forces, the highest braking Gs in Australia. Alan Jones, the Komatsu Ford, he's following pretty closely. He's actually doing very good speed still. He's doing probably about half a second a lap slower than Brock and probably as fast as anybody.
Alan Jones in the Komatsu Falcon sitting in 4th position. Well, we've been saying this would have to be one of the closest touring car seasons on record as we see Perkins go up the inside of Faulkner. Well, that is a fact. Since the inception of the V8 formula in 1993, it is the closest at this stage of the championship. And if positions stay as they are at the moment, Seaton would have a 4-point lead over Bow and Ingall, who would be tied for second. How about that, fellas?
Well, that means you've only got 4 points between the top 3 contenders. We came into this round with a 22-second break. Now it's down to just 4 points. Unbelievable.
But 4 points in 500. I mean, we've had some close championships before, but because the round structure is such that you have basically 90 points for the day as the win, you have 500 points and 4 points spreading the first 3 guys. Just unbelievable.
4 laps left to run when they come across the start-finish line. This time round, we're watching Larry Perkins. He's got the edge over John Faulkner now. It is still Murphy who leads the way. He's going very, very well from Stevie Richards and Peter Brock. They're your top 3. Perkins comes onto the main straight sideways. He's looking at Alan Jones trying to bridge that gap.
At this time of the race, Lee, we said it before, but the Dunlop tyre probably starts to come into its own again. Just starts to dry out. Larry last lap was one of the fastest guys on the circuit.
Alan McCarthy.
Alan McCarthy just backed into the little sand pit there. The yellow flag at the end of the pit straight.
Although this race has ended the way that he wouldn't have wanted it to, Alan McCarthy would have to be happy with his day. Finishing 5th in that first race, that's outstanding for the West Australian privateer.
And word from race control as the race is 19 laps in distance. I believe they cut 1 lap out when there was a problem with Mark Larkham on the warm-up lap.
So we rejoin now our race leader, Greg Murphy. It hasn't been the year that he was looking for, but if things can turn good for him from here on in, I'm sure that will be a little bit of a consolation for Greg. He's running 6th in the championship, certainly further back than where he wanted to be. Things just haven't gone his way, and he's accepted that, kept a very brave face and just kept soldiering on, and this would be a good reward for him. To get this win, it would be good for Mobile and HRT getting the 1-2.
Oh, certainly. I mean, as I said, the last time when the wet conditions are like this, they've got a really good setup. The tyre's very good, but the guys are driving the cars very well also. The cars are very straight. Obviously, the rear suspension of the car makes it able to put its power down. And at this sort of circuit where it is very hard on tyre wear, it's imperative to make the car balance and the package as good as you can.
Murph just making his way past local privateer Sean Walker. And there's the gap. That shot illustrates it beautifully, just how big the gap is back to Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. Not quite as close as the last race, Mark Osler.
No, had 2 absolute rippers. Every time we go to a round, we say, well, this is the best racing we've seen so far. But keep in mind, round 9 of the championship tomorrow afternoon on your home of Motorsport, Network 10. you'll see round 9 for Ballina, the penultimate round with those 3 guys going into the round 4 points apart. Should be an absolute thriller.
We're seeing a good battle here between Jones and Perkins. Larry will be looking to get the upper hand here on AJ. Time is running out. Should be a spectacular last lap. Up the front, it's pretty spacious, so we'll stay with this battle. Jones has just got the wood on Perkins. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Here goes Larry. This is where he passed Longhurst before around the outside, but he won't do it to AJ this time. Now he has a go on him.
Oh, no love lost here. The old Formula 1 sparring partners. They're both over in Europe, cut their teeth in Formula 3. And they know a bit about each other's tactics. Look at Perkins. Oh, they're out of touch there. Alan Jones managed to catch on. Larry's gone right off in the sand.
Great save, Alan Jones. I mean, when Larry looked like he had the wheels locked and give Jonesy a bump, he still stayed on.
Meanwhile, Greg Murphy has taken the win. Congratulations, Murph. A really good win there in race 3. And Stevie Richards in for 2nd. What a terrific finish for him. And Peter Brock will pick up 3rd, and that will give him today's round win. Congratulations to Peter Brock. He hasn't won since 1990. But he has come through with the goods today. Good on you, Brocky. Russell Ingall comes onto the straight nice and sideways. He will finish ahead of Glenn Seaton. And hard luck there for Larry Perkins. Here's the Shell Helix replay. He comes in contact with AJ. As you heard Mark Scaife say, good save by Alan. But it's all over for Larry Perkins from here on in. Spinning off into the sand.
It's a bit of a pity, really, because Larry was a great drive at the end there. He was really quick.
Well, there he is with the hand out the window. Well done to Peter Brock. He came in for 3rd in that race behind his teammate Greg Murphy and Stephen Richards. Richards' best result of the year. Alan Jones in for 4th and John Faulkner in for 5th. A very credible position there for John Faulkner, top privateer, no doubt about that.